I do have like extraordinary breakthroughs with really interesting things, but sometimes people come in with the most normal things. And I remember meeting this guy who said, I can't spell. My wife's name is Patsy, and I always write her name as Pasty, which drives her crazy. So I write, Happy Christmas, Pasty, Happy Birthday, Pat. And she's like, for God's sake, we've been married for 20 years. It's Patsy. Can't you just spell my name? Which actually made it worse. So in comes this poor guy who's now so paranoid, he can't write checks. And this was 20 years ago when people wrote checks. He couldn't write checks, he couldn't write reports because he couldn't spell. And so I said, look, if you can read, you can spell. When you read a word, you can spell it. No one is born not able to spell. Children learn to spell cat and mat and hat and bat. So back we go into hypnosis. And his was a very similar scene. His family came over from Poland, and his father, I think, was a lawyer in Poland. But in England, his qualifications weren't recognized, and he had to be a bus driver, which made him very irate and cranky. And people laughed at his accent all the time. So when his son came home and couldn't pronounce English words, he had this great idea that he would give him 10 words to spell every day. And if he didn't spell them, he would smack him around the head, which he did every day. So this poor little kid of 6 is having to spell words like Volkswagen because the father's a driver, and every time he can't spell, the father hits him to make him learn. Because the father, of course, is operating out of fear. Everyone laughs at my Polish accent. No one is going to laugh at my son. My son is going to speak perfect English. He's going to write perfect English. And I'm going to hit him every day until he's better than me, which we all know doesn't work. And this poor kid is now so distressed, so freaked out, so terrified of the 10 spellings that, of course, he gets every single one wrong. And now the mother comes in, takes him aside and says, darling, I can't spell. I've never been able to spell. It's genetic, don't feel bad. So now we've got the same situation. He believes he can't spell. His father's terrifying him. His mother is telling him it's genetic. And now he's got this belief, I can't spell. And 20 years later, actually 30, but he can't spell his wife's name. And there was nothing wrong with him except this belief that he couldn't spell, which we got rid of immediately. And he never wrote pasty again. And he was absolutely fine.